What up, B Squad? It is your boy JB, and we are here today, you guys, with a brand new review for The Real Housewives of Orange County. This is season 18, episode 8. This episode was titled Once a Traitor, Always a Traitor, you guys. So, before we do get into the review, if you guys are watching this video or any other video on the channel, and you guys aren't subscribed yet, then I need you guys to do me a solid favor and stop taking me out on this date and then have me pay for it at the end of it. You guys know the routine. You can do me that favor by liking the video, subscribing to the channel, turning on your post notifications, and sharing the video, you guys. And with that out of the way, without further ado, let us go ahead and get into this episode of The Real Housewives of Orange County, you guys. Shout. Now, before we do get into it, I want you guys to tell me, what did you guys think about this episode? Did you like this episode? Tell me you're good, you're bad, and you're ugly. How are you doing today? Is it Bernie Raves? How are you doing today on this Good Friday? And it's a holiday weekend at that. Hope you're having a great day. So let's see, where do we want to start up with this episode? This episode, actually, we'll start with where the episode actually opened up with. So we see Tamra, Heather, and Emily as they were sitting down with each other. I guess they were at dinner and they were just talking about the trips that they had, to Big Bear and to La Quinta, right? So I am glad that you're doing good. You said I'd rated an 8 out of 10. It was a fun watch. It was a fun watch. I know a lot. I didn't even see what people were tweeting last night, but I know people were probably upset to see Teddy show up. Teddy is annoying, but yeah. But I'm right there with you. It was a solid 8 out of 10. Speaking of this episode, let me talk about something real quick that happened this week on social media. So on Wednesday night, I was scrolling through Instagram and I just happened to see a post that after 9 months together, Johnny J, Johnny J, and Alexis are engaged. I had to laugh to myself because it's like, girl, you are so thirsty and so stupid. Like 9 months with this man. So that means that when you guys filmed this season, which we already knew that they were only together for a few months, like you're coming so hard at Shannon for a man you've only known for a couple of months. Like, girl, get off the gas. Bravo, please do not bring Alexis back. And I think I see where Alexis is trying to go. She's trying to get that orange back and using John as a storyline and this engagement. Girl, don't nobody want it, don't nobody care. But they were talking about Tamara. So Tamara's going to be throwing a traders party, right? If you guys didn't know, Tamara was on the this past season of the Traders. She didn't make it that far because they thought she was a traitor. No, 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 no. Tamara got taken out. That's what happened. She didn't. She got taken out. But so Tamara is playing, doing a thing with the girls, like I said, for the Traders, right? So she's invited everyone with the exception of Alexis. And I'm like, okay, cool. So you can be caring when you want to be. But she also says that she doesn't want to tell Shannon this whole stuff that Alexis is saying. And it's like, girl, if that is your friend, give your friend the heads up and be like, yo, so I just want to let you know before you come here. Or just let her know on on girl code. Like tell her like, yo. So Alexis is going around basically telling anybody who will listen that her and John are gonna put something out on you. Like, be real with your friend, but that would be too much like right when it comes to Tamara. But let's go ahead and get in. So start up the episode where it started up after that. So we see Shannon. Like I said, you guys know I like Shannon. Shannon is my girl. But Shannon, I think, Mama, you should just drive, not drive. You should just get Ubered around, Ubered something, because to have to go through all that you're going through, after this DUI where she got a new car, right? So with the car, she has to do a breathalyzer before she can drive the car. I was like, oh, that's got to be embarrassing. But you did it to yourself, so I'm not really saying too much about that. So she's getting the breathalyzer put in her car, so she has to hum and then blow into the breathalyzer. If she doesn't do that, then it's a violation. And if she gets so many violations, she has to go back in to the shop where they put the breathalyzer on. Also, on top of that, while she's driving, if she's driving for longer than I think 20 minutes or so, she'll have to blow into it again. I was like, God damn. Now, the question that I have is if she's driving for longer than 20 or 30 minutes, well, 15, 20 minutes, where the hell did you think she's going to get the alcohol from? You know what? Never mind. If someone is an alcoholic, they could potentially get in the car with alcohol with them and be sober and or below the limit, but then they can drink while they're driving. So I guess I get it. She also let us know that her business is struggling. I feel bad for Shannon because then I feel like, with this whole John wanting money from her, it's bullshit to be honest with you. I just pray for Shannon. Let me know what you guys think about that. And we will go ahead and move on to the next person, you guys. I guess I should start with who gave me the least in this episode. And that's really Emily. Because I didn't get shit from Emily's scene. Besides the fact that she and Shane got spray tanned. She was talking to Shane about, doing a doctor's appointment because I guess Shane has some pain in his chest. But when she was talking to Shane, Shane wasn't taking it seriously at all. So I was like, that's kind of telling right there in itself. So then, she asked Shane if she's mean. He says no. But what I will say is I agreed with Gina, especially when it comes to the situation with Jen. You've been very mean spirited to Jen, and I still don't understand the reason for you being so mean spirited towards Jen. Jen ain't said nothing to you. Jen ain't done nothing to you this season that I know of and that I've saw. But at every chance you get, you want to take a dig and attack her. And it's like, wow, girl, who pissed in your cornflakes? But she did say that, looking at Jen, it just reminds her of her mother. And I was like, okay, I hear where you're coming from. But again, what does any of that have to do with you? Like, I get that it might be a little triggering for you, but at the end of the day, that has nothing to do with you, how Jen chooses to live her life. But she did say that she owes Jen an apology. And I'm like, you absolutely owe that woman an apology. You've been coming at her like a like hardcore for no reason. And I've said my 2 cents about when it comes to Jen, and I still stand on what I said about Jen. That I think Jen needs to take a look at herself and try to. I mean, although you are a 41-year-old woman, you should know some things. But when you're sheltered and you have people taking care of you, you don't necessarily need to learn life skills. And I think Emily should have taken that into consideration. But it is what it is. You guys can let me know what you think about it in the comments, and we'll go ahead and move on to the next person, you guys. So the next person will be Jen herself. So we see Jen and Katie. So Jen and Katie, they are doing yoga. Now, I was never mind because I was gonna say something, but it is what it is. Because Jen was saying that she doesn't make any money with that yoga studio, and I'm still thinking you should let that go. If you ain't making a profit from it, girl, let it the hell go. It doesn't make any sense. But hey, that ain't got nothing to do with me. But like I said, she and Katie are doing yoga. Katie because they talked about the trips as well. Katie let Jen know that she had reached out to Heather via text message, but Heather didn't respond to the text message. And we find out that they kind of have similar stories when it comes to their exes. And we got a little bit deeper into Katie's story, which we'll talk about Katie's story in just a minute. But, Katie was just telling Jen how when she got together with her ex, At their wedding, they got married in Hawaii. She basically told her how her brother-in-law came up to her and was almost like, good luck with that one. I was like, oh wow. So your brother-in-law came up to you, tried to warn you about marrying your ex-husband, and she had already had her daughter, and her family was like, her parents were like, well, we already done flew out her for a wedding, so basically, you're gonna get married because she wanted to call the wedding off, but her family still made her go through with it, right? Now she did tell Jen that she left him a few times, but her parents would basically talk her into going back. And then she said the last time that she went back and she left again, that was it. And the divorce was a messy divorce. She also talked about the fact that she doesn't have any of her things from childhood, like where she was scrapbook and all that kind of stuff, yearbooks, because her ex got rid of the stuff. I was like, damn, he was that petty. Like, nah, that's fucked up. That you tossed away the woman's stuff. But it only gets worse from there with her ex husband. Ugh. And yeah, I I ain't gonna say nothing about her kid, but yeah, I don't know how I feel about it. But let's move on to Katie. So Katie is talking to her daughter, right? And her daughter is getting ready to change her last name to her husband's last name, right? And so Katie in her interview let us know a little bit more about her ex-husband. So remember earlier in the season, I was kind of confused about her situation with her kids. If their fathers were the same person, well, they had the same fathers. But then I was also confused about the fact that one of her sons lived with her ex-husband, but her daughter doesn't have a relationship with her father. Well, Katie explained it in this episode. So Katie said that her mother was diagnosed with cancer sometime, after they split up, right? And that her ex-husband wouldn't let one of her kids come to see her mother. So her daughter texted him telling him how selfish she was. And so after she told him how selfish she was, then he stopped communicating with her. He doesn't say happy birthday to her. When she graduated high school, he didn't send anything to, congratulate her. That man is a piece of shit. Like, that is terrible. All because your daughter told you the truth about yourself. Like, that is horrible. Like, I don't think that I could ever just, if I have kids, I know I could never just turn my back on my kids for any. They could say, you know, people, adults and kids say sometimes things that hurt each other's feelings, right? But I would just never turn my back on my kids. Like, I can't imagine what a what I mean. Wow. And I wonder what Katie's relationship is with her son that lives with him. Because if the man is that vindictive, I wouldn't be surprised if the man would eventually at some point try to turn that son against Katie and her other kids. So weird. So Katie also told her daughter about her and Tamara wanting their daughters to meet up with each other, right? And we'll talk about Tamara in just a minute. But that was really it with Katie. I really do feel bad for her daughter. I think she should put her. I think her daughter should go to therapy about that because that's gotta hurt. But let's move on, you guys, and we're gonna get ready to wrap the episode on up with Tamara. Now, Tamara, your daughter Sophia. I don't know if you don't see it or if you just don't care, but Sophia is very uncomfortable being on this camera. Like, I can see that every time that Sophia is on camera, it's like, girl, you don't realize that your daughter is not comfortable with being on these cameras. So they talked about Sophia, taking a gap year from school and what she's gonna do next, right? I thought that was cute. But then when Tamara started talking about, you know, um, her ex and her not having a relationship with him, the girl was like, I don't want to talk about that. I was like, Tamara, but I'm glad Tamara didn't keep going with it. But in her interview, she's still talking about it. Like, my ex, two of our kids don't talk to him, and then one of our kids doesn't talk to me. It's like, my God, this just proves that Tamara literally had no storyline this season outside of talking about Shannon. You ain't had no storyline, Tamara. So after that, we get to the traders party, right? So all the if you guys have never saw traders, they all pull up in a car together, right? So that's what happened. Everybody pulled up in the car. Vicky and Shannon were in a car together. Poor Shannon, because Vicky was not listening to anything that Shannon was saying in that damn car. So when they get to the house, they're all standing outside, and they were greeted by none other than Teddy Mellencamp. If you guys don't know who Teddy Mellencamp is, she is formerly from the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Now, what I will say when it comes to Teddy, I don't hate Teddy as much as the fandom does. But what I will say about Teddy is I do find Teddy annoying. That I will say. She's absolutely annoying, but I don't hate Teddy as much as people do. Now, Vicky said that Teddy is basically Tamara's puppet. I agree. Now, let me put this on the forefront too. I don't listen to that podcast. I've never listened to two T's in a pod. I would sooner nope. I was about to lie and say I would sooner listen to Giselle and Robin's podcast, but I would never. I would listen to Teddy. Nope. Oh God, there's no housewives that I listen to their podcast, because the housewives that do have podcasts, I don't like any of them. Giselle and Robin, I can't stand them. I don't like Tamara, so I don't want to listen to her talk. And I don't really care. I don't have an issue with Teddy, but Teddy is annoying as hell. Then you got Teresa with a podcast, and I damn sure won't listen to her podcast. So damn, never mind. There's just no housewives that I would listen to a podcast from. Put it like that. Now I did not know that Vicky and Teddy had an issue with each other, right? But they showed a clip of them from BravoCon. I believe it was 2023 when Teddy, I guess Teddy had either tweeted it or asked the question of where was Vicky on January the 6th. I was like, oh my God, not you asked where that woman was if she was at the Capitol. And Vicky felt the way about it. I mean, I would too if I was Vicky. So the the ladies are having a good time with each other, right? So Heather pulled Katie to the side, right? So Katie and Heather went to the side, and Heather is telling Katie that she's going to be having an event in Sonoma, and she would like to invite her to the event. So Katie wants to take it upon herself to apologize to Heather, right? My God, Heather gets on my nerves. When Katie was trying to apologize, she didn't want to talk about it. It's like, okay, so can we let this situation be done at this point? Like it's like it's obviously not going anywhere. The woman's apologizing to you, but you want to let her get a word out edgewise. So can we move on? But they moved on. Now Heather told Gina that she and Katie talked and it went fine. I was like, did it? Because again, you didn't let that woman have a conversation, and Katie even told that to Tamara, like she wouldn't let me talk. So then we see Emily. Emily pulled Jen to the side, and Emily is apologizing to Jen for the things that she said to Jen. I'm like, you definitely owe that woman an apology. Like, and so she explained about her upbringing again, and it's like, okay, I hear you, but that's some childhood trauma that you need to work out within yourself. That ain't nothing that's got to do with her. Like, you're attaching something to her that ain't got nothing to do with you, and that's my problem when it comes to Emily. So we see Tamara, Vicky, and Shannon. They're talking, right? So Shannon is talking about how she wants absolutely nothing to do with Alexis Bellino, and I don't blame her, right? And they talked about, the post that Tamara liked, and Tamara's like, I didn't read the hashtag, Shannon. Now, mind you, she knows what Alexis has said about Shannon, but she's not telling Shannon what was said. And so also we see Gina talking, right? So Gina was talking to, I believe it was Heather and Katie, right? And they're also talking about what Alexis has said. Gina wants to tell Shannon, but she doesn't want things to get worse. I'm like, girl, how can it get worse? Just tell her, like, Shannon, I've heard from other people that, Alexis is saying that XYZ, she got a video of you, and whatever's on the video, we don't know. I don't even know if they revealed it this season, but I don't know. I mean, well, yeah, they did say something about it. I think it was about, her potentially, her almost hitting his daughter. Okay, we knew she was drunk, so I don't know how that hurts her any worse than, her hitting that house. But neither here nor there, right? So Tamara told Shannon that all they want for you to do is just to clear his name. And Shannon is like, she's not gonna lie for him. And I'm like, absolutely not. Fuck John Jansen. Like, that's how I feel. So they also talked about the Trace Amigas. Now, current time, Tamara is on the outs with both Vicky and with Shannon. So Trace Amigas is no more. But neither here nor there, right? So they got to the plan, the Traders game, right? This wasn't really 100% like Traders, but I know they couldn't do it with the time constraints. But one person was named a traitor, right? Now, initially, walking around, I was trying to figure out, I'm like, who is the traitor? So they had to play a game where they were writing something down, and I don't forget what the game was, but they played one game, and then they did a round table, and whoever won from the thing that they did earlier, they had immunity. And I believe it was Shannon and Vicky who had immunity, right? So after that, they put the blindfolds on, and so the traitor just stood up and pointed at the person that they wanted to take out, right? And that's not how it is on the show, because on the show, the traitors operate in the darkness. So the traitor took out Tamra, but the traitor in their interview was like, I didn't point toward Tamra. I pointed at Vicky. And the way that the person was sitting, I was like, it's obviously Heather. And so they did that. And so they did another one. And this time they took out Vicky. Then they took out Shannon. And after that, they were supposed to play another game, but Teddy pushed Tamra in the pool, and I hollered when she pushed her in the pool. I was like, I'm here for it. So they got to the end where they were guessing who the traitor was. The only two people who got who the traitor was I think it was Vicky and Tamra who guessed the traitor correctly. It was Heather. Everybody else got it wrong. And ultimately that was the end of the episode. It was a okay episode. The only thing I'm over with OC right now is just this whole situation with Alexis. It's like it's too much for me. Like, part of me feels like Alexis and John, they met up with each other and they decided to be in cahoots with each other to come against Shannon this season. That's what is given to me. But that's the episode. If I left anything out, you guys definitely feel free to leave it down in the comments below, you guys. Be sure to subscribe to the channel, turn on your post notifications, you guys. Share the video. And until the next time, you guys, please stay safe out there. Take care of yourselves. Wash your hands. Be blessed. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.